Well, Secrets of Strixhaven is coming faster than we can anticipate, and there is a lot for us to discuss in this video. From a new reprinting of the dual land cycle that I think people are really going to enjoy having in these treatments, to incredible new colorless spells, market analyses regarding the Codex Bundle being $225 on pre-order already, and holy crap, is that Wheel of Fortune? Buckle up, we got a lot to talk about. Alright, so we're going to discuss a lot of things in this video, including spoilers, some amazing Commander Precon deck lists, including staples like land tax that honestly I would have never put on my bingo card as being a reprint we would see in a new Commander Precon product. We have amazing art to look at. We have the headliner card to discuss with art by Mark Poole in the Emeritus of Ideation. We have reprinting of names and texts for things like Ancestral Recall, Wheel of Fortune, and others without it breaking the reserve list rules. Insane market action on the Codex. Look at this, a ridiculous S-curve line here, and the collector booster displays for Strixhaven as well, all the way back up to $549 on pre-order. I put chapters in the video, feel free to click through to what section you want, but let's go through everything you need to know about Strixhaven before this release is upon us. If you like content like this, that's analytical about Magic, yet not relentlessly negative about it, while talking about markets, gameplay, and doing box openings, then hey, maybe subscribe. Also, if you have a lot of cardboard you want to sell, check out Card Conduit, one of the best ways to sell your cards on the internet. Use promo code NERDY for 10% off your fees at checkout. And then also check out Mana Pool, which is apparently the largest growing online sales database for Magic the Gathering cards, a sponsor of this channel, who now is also sponsoring Commander at Home, which is amazing. Thanks, Mana Pool. I appreciate it. Affiliate link below. Use that to purchase your cards after you get all that sweet cash from Card Conduit. I greatly appreciate it. All right, starting first and foremost with my bread and butter. You guys know it. I love looking at these charts and seeing what's happening with collector booster displays while constantly reminding you to be weary of these pre-release prices. Yet we see hundreds getting sold all the time in the lead up to releases for sets. So in January, before we knew much about this set, we might have known about Math and Magic's, maybe one or two cards. It was around 500 bucks. The prices kept going down lower and lower as the hype from TMNT was wearing off, and people are probably switching over to One Piece or other things outside of Magic. New Pokemon releases were happening, so money starts going down, and then we have this insane release season beginning with the Ancestral Recall spoiler on Emeritus of Ideation, and boom, these things have gone nowhere but up. We also have to talk about the amazing new Mystical Archive cards with Vampiric Tutor, Force of Will, amazing staples coming back into packs on a shelf in a store near you for, a day or two after pre-release. 1,100 have sold already, and we are looking at a new accepted price paradigm of over $500, well above and excess of the MSRP of $350. Guys, I make these videos and talk about this not to be a broken record, but to remind everybody that this is a universes within product. I know we just came off TMNT where MSRP was supposed to be $450. This is $350. Do not get tricked. I do believe a lot of retailers are taking advantage of a lack of market savvy or confusion with these prices. So people go, oh, well, it's only $100 more than I paid for TMNT, and I might get a VAMP tutor in here and a Mystical Archive. Sign me up, that's fine. No, this is $200 above what you should be paying for this product, and I want to make sure people know it. So I think this is going to continue to go up, by the way. The excitement for this set is clear. We have a historic and legendary artist in Mark Poole coming back with Emeritus of Ideation headliner card. Look at this. I have been a sucker for game day promos back from the early 2000s and the mid 2000s and 2010s for a long time. This speaks to me, and wow, I am very excited about this. Mark Poole is back. We have an Ancestral Recall right in the top here with this art, and this card in and of itself I think is going to make waves in the Commander format and just be something that people discuss because of the controversial inclusion of keywords and the almost exact text of Ancestral Recall. Now, if you didn't see it, I covered a short about this topic. I think that people are being alarmist and just want to get clicks. The reality is, this is a reserved list mechanic with extra steps. The only difference is they're calling it what it is. Imagine, if you will, Avendo, Waking Heaven from Edge of Eternities, which is one of many lands that do broken reserved list item things, was called Gaia's Cradle with more steps, or Gaia's Cradle Light, or even it was called Avendo, Waking Heaven, and this activation down here was called Gaia's Cradle. Pay green, tap for green for each creature you control, right? We have seen this in many things before where we have, again, reserved list power with extra steps on modern cards. We go back, Growing Rights of Itlimoc. Same thing. What if the backside of the Growing Rights of Itlimoc was called just straight up Gaia's Cradle when you flipped it over? That's what it does. That's what this is doing. In fact, it's a little bit better than Gaia's Cradle, because if you have no creatures on the battlefield, it's still going to tap for a green, where traditional Gaia's Cradle cannot do that. However, there are extra steps. There's a casting cost. There's time. It has to flip over. So this is nothing new. However, using the name Ancestral Recall on the card in this particular set, I think is a giant flavor win. These are supposed to be the mythic wizards of Strixhaven. Ostensibly some of the most powerful wizards on this plane, and maybe even in multiple planes if we stretch it out to other locations in Magic's history, and they are bringing up ancient powers from the old Magics. That is so cool. I think it's a total flavor win. I am still an OG Magic guy at heart, and the flavor of these ruling wizards using the old Magics by their name to do that power for the same casting cost is excellent. I think it's super cool. It's a flavor win and is no way breaking the rules of the reserved list. So this has created a lot of hype. The one you might not have seen is Noctamoon Lore Spinner, and also what you didn't see is the 15 takes it took me to figure out how to say Noctamoon. But either way, we get a Wheel of Fortune power on this. Again, after already paying 2 in a red, you can then play an additional 2 in a red to get a Wheel of Fortune effect. Only if a player has 1 or fewer cards in hand, this creature becomes prepared. So again, there's no turn 1, turn 2, turn 3 Wheel of Fortunes happening here. This is only going to happen in mid to late game, and honestly, a great way to get people out of mid-range hell if you're just stuck, everybody hell-bent, taking the top card off their library, not sure where the game is going to go. This is almost like a board wipe for your hand that only gets activated when it's actually going to help somebody else, maybe yourself, maybe an aggressive discard strategy you can get here on turn 3. But either way, the point of this card is that we have the Lore Spinner. We have a Jackal Wizard creature who is calling back the old Magics by their name. I think it's sweet, very cool, and I think spoilers like this are causing the prices to pop on collector booster boxes. Now, before we do more market analysis, I want to talk about some of the new things we've seen with recent spoilers for the land cycles that are coming out. First and foremost, these borderless lands are some of the best, I think, since Dragonstorm Tarkir. I'm absolutely stunned by how these look, and I can tell by the usage of nice bright white for contrast. I think when you see these on foil, it's going to look incredible. So a wonderful land cycle, a breath of fresh air after the pizza debacle. And now let's talk about the reprints of the 2 or more dual lands here. They're not fetchable by their name. This is not an island mountain, and this is not a plain swamp. However, these cards are stunning, and I see them having a similar impact as the Thunder Junction lands that were slightly different, but still match this sort of utility and art style. I really like the visual homages here. They're not universally like this, but I like the idea that the wizards are causing one plane to open into another, and that's why you're going to tap for both colors. This is a swampy overworld heading into a forest. We have this really cool futuristic looking Strixhaven-y garden leading into some inside pool area. There is water and forests on this card, but I love the idea of them opening into another world using their powers, allowing you to tap for those multiple colors. So again, flavor win in the art, not to mention they're stunning, and I bet you these in foil are going to fetch a pretty penny. Now, moving on to a recent spoiler, we have the Dawning Archaic. This is 10 colorless mana, legendary creature. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each instant and sorcery in your graveyard. You want a Spell Sling in Izzet? You want a Spell Sling in any color identity, combination, or monocolored? This is a card to add, because guess what it does? It's a 7/7 with reach. Whenever the Dawning Archaic attacks, you may cast target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard without paying its mana cost. If that spell would be put into your graveyard, exile it instead. So we basically get stapled onto this card a single-use Yawgmoth's Will for potentially 0, right? Imagine your whole deck is built around this being your commander. You put in a bunch of 1-2 drop cantrips that you just sling, boom, 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 boom. Turn 4, this thing costs you what? If you're really effective, it costs you maybe 4 or 3 mana, and then boom, it comes back out, recast spell from graveyard, recast spell from graveyard. It could be insane, a really fun build. So it's a cool card, it looks great. I think this card is going to be highly sought after and one of the chases from this set. Now we have the Elder Dragon cycle here as well from each of the schools: Witherbloom, Quandrix, Silverquill, Prismari. We're missing one here. Well, there's one more, and I'm going to blame Scryfall for that one. But either way, these look pretty good. I'm not going to go through and read them all. I want to move on to more of my takes on this set. I'm sure if you're interested for this, you've read a lot of these yourself, and I want to tell you how I feel about them. So first and foremost, the Emeritus of Ideation cycle with this extended art and incredible showcase card. I think this is going to go down in history as one of the most sought after chase cards ever, and I think that's exclusively why we are seeing the collector booster market go absolutely out of its mind. So we're going to briefly discuss this. I already did touch on this. I think this is going to go higher. I would not be surprised if this hits a ceiling of 650 or so before coming back down to reality. But don't forget, MSRP is $450. Now, how is this affecting the play booster boxes? Well, not really. We are seeing some minor upticking in the play booster boxes, but this further confirms that while the gameplay mechanics that are all accessible within the play booster box and very exciting, between the new Elder Dragon cycles to the mystical archives and then these excellent wizards using the old magics, we see there is definitely excitement around the gameplay as this goes up a little bit. But again, the collector booster divide, where you have a collector product and a player's product, continues to have the desired market effect of bifurcating the consuming base and serving their interests. Now, whether this universally works or was always a good idea, I think is up for debate. I think draft and set boosters were better, and I think play booster hits have gotten worse and worse and worse. I've been more disappointed every time I've opened a play booster now than when I did back when they were starting to sell it to us in Thunder Junction and Modern Horizons 3. So I would say only open play boosters if you plan on playing with them. If you want to collect, buy singles or bite the bullet and recognize you're going to gamble a little bit by buying a collector booster. Now, the next thing we got to talk about is the Secrets of Strixhaven Codex Bundle, which I have been thrilled about since they posted it. This is coming off the heels of an amazing pizza box bundle from TMNT. It was a new form factor. The cardboard was solid and it feels reusable. The interior was designed and bespoke specifically for this release. We had good promos, a cool spin down die, and I think a pretty decent value proposition in a unique form factor that was directly flavorful to the IP. An excellent slam dunk product. I opened it here if you want to check it out. I think the Codex is a continuation of that incredible creativity and what feels to me like real inspiration in product design, which is just a breath of fresh air. This bundle, I think, is commanding a high price for a good reason. You get 2 collector boosters inside of this, not just one, which is what I would rather. You're buying a collector style product. Why do I want 1 collector and 9 play boosters? I would much rather give me 3 collector boosters, that's it. I don't need any play boosters. Or 2, like this one, which is excellent. And I believe this gives you 6, this gives you 6 Strixhaven play boosters. I would be fine. You reduce that to 4 or even 3, and you give me 3 collector boosters, I am game. This is a really sick product, and I can't wait to see what the interior looks like. I'm 100% going to convert this into some sort of a deck box. I hope 3D printers out there fire up those 3D printers and build interior containers to hold dice, deck boxes, whatever, and you can show up to game nights at your friend's house or LGS's holding your mystical archive codex like you or one of those old wizards using the old magics. I think it's sick. It's awesome. This price point is silly. I think it will go down, but just looking at it, the price point sort of makes sense. Not that $220. I'm not saying buy this at $220. I'm saying the 522 people who've been buying this in pre-order seems totally legitimate to me because this product looks absolutely amazing. Do not forget as well, this is not releasing until middle of May 15th. This is going to be pushed out a month from the release, just like the TMNT play boosters. And here's the bit where I tell you my predictions. Wait to purchase it until full release. Don't get excited. Don't FOMO. You gotta just wait for it. Look, there was a very similar curve for the TMNT Pizza Bundle, topping out at 182 on March 10th, shortly before release. The last gasp of high sales before we came back down to reality. You could pick one up right now for MSRP at $102.98. I think the MSRP is $99 on this product. So I expect a very, look at that, the big mouse, a very similar price trajectory on the Codex. There's that same market movement we just saw on TMNT. Hold all of your horses and wait. This is a great product, but do it at the right price. Okay, now that we discussed all of those, it's time to talk about the Commander Precons. I am, once again, fairly excited about the Commander Precons. Adrix and Niev, and I will say it like it's Russian every single time, Niev is one of my favorite commanders of all time. The School of Quandrix really got me into Magic to begin with. I remember I was just really relearning all of the different color combinations, where I was like, wait, what? This isn't, is it? This is called Prismari. And that's not Golgari, that's Witherbloom. And I had to get explained to me by people that that's the name of the school, yada yada, those are the new names. But either way, Quandrix and Twincasters Mage was sweet, and I think we have some good commanders coming out of here as well. So I'm not going to go through and read these off to you. You can pause and read them yourself. What I want to talk about more importantly, and to save your time, is about the quality of the reprints we're getting in these decks. First and foremost, I cannot believe that we are getting a reprint of Land Tax. Look, first off, that art is stunning. That is art that's been utilized before, but man, absolutely gorgeous. Land Tax, very powerful card, very sought after card, and it's coming in a precon. I cannot wait to see. I think typically the Command Zone breaks it down where they talk about the reprint value before even considering all the newly printed card mechanics and what you're getting. I bet you these are going to be some of the best bang for your buck commanders to come out in recent history. And if you're just looking to get into Magic, or you just got in with TMNT and were disappointed that we only had one commander product coming out of that, well, get ready. This might be the one for you. Other huge reprints coming out of the other precons in total that are worth mentioning. We have Wave of Reckoning, Currency Converter, Bitterthorn, Emeria the Sky Ruin, Fairy Mastermind, Guillaume Master Chef, just to name a few. These are going to be some incredible precons, and I think are worth keeping your eye on if any of the new mechanics speak to you. And last but certainly not least, the Mystical Archive will be in every play booster and collector booster. How crazy is that? This is just like the bonus sheet from TMNT and the collector boosters, but in every play booster and in every collector booster. I believe this is how it worked in the first Strixhaven as well, because I have tons and tons of the original Mystical Archives. I wasn't paying attention that much to what is in every single booster at that time. It was a different point in my Magic collecting journey. I didn't have a single dual land at the time. But now, looking at this, we get Force of Will, Vampiric Tutor, and these all come with their gorgeous showcase treatments. I mean, look at this, the Japanese Vampiric Tutor. These are unreal. The Japanese Force of Will, it's just beautiful, beautiful cards. I cannot believe that this is the caliber of card coming out of these play boosters. Again, you know what this kind of feels like to me? And this is where we get to the thing that I think no one else is saying. This feels like a last hurrah for the previous generation of power in Magic the Gathering. I think that we are about to enter into a new category of power creep in the next year. Not immediately, but over the next year or two, we're going to see spells that are as good as or better than Force of Will. I think we're going to see cards that are as good as or better than Vampiric Tutor. Yeah, I mean, you might ask me, how can you possibly do better than Vampiric Tutor? Lose 1 life, lose no life, grab 2 cards for 2 black, and only lose 2 life still. I think we're about to see evolutions of these cards because they are going for the fences. Some of the best, universally loved, powerful cards are being reprinted in this set. Not to mention, we're getting things like Emeritus of Ideation, calling back to previous power, and throwing these mechanics on cards with extra steps. So I do think we are on the precipice of even more power creep. They also have Sylvan Library in the special guest slot. Look how gorgeous that looks. Sylvan Library, another great card. And ironically enough, a card that if you slam down now, no one really cares about. They eventually see how powerful it is. But there is sort of a boomer power dynamic that I've been stuck in, where a lot of cards that used to be just unbelievably powerful, people just go, oh yeah, cool, that's a cool thing, and move on. So again, I do sense a paradigm shift in what is powerful for Magic the Gathering cards. And I think we are getting a little bit of a last hurrah with some of these inclusions in Strixhaven. So ultimately, I'm very, very excited for this set. I think there is a lot to be excited about. We have a gorgeous, just to summarize, gorgeous lands, a gorgeous dual land and useful dual land cycle. Incredible references back to some of the old magics. We have cool, new, colorless Spellslinger payoffs. We have a new set of charms, which we didn't talk about again, but I feel like that's been heavily covered. I don't want to waste your time by repeating that. We have a new series of legendary Elder Dragons with decent power. Some interesting Planeswalkers we didn't talk about because, frankly, I don't like Planeswalkers that much. We didn't even cover the fact that Reanimate, Pox, other powers are back on these cards as well. We just saw a white wizard card come out that has Replenish in the text as well. Again, amazing power from the reserve list included on these cards with extra steps. We have great collectability with the Mystical Archives, powerful commander products, creative and unique bundles coming out a month later. It's impossible for me to call this set anything other than an absolute success in terms of its complexion, what they're including in it, and the excitement I feel for this product overall. What a great in-universe set. I think this is going to hit harder than Lorwyn. I think this is going to have a longer memory than Lorwyn, and I think the swings that are being taken in this set are going to have ripple effects across the next couple of years of Magic, which is heartening to me. I like to see a Universes Within set come on to the field, making big statements, creative changes, and getting me excited about returning to one of the first Magic the Gathering universes I heavily invested in way back when Strixhaven first released. Well, those are my thoughts, guys. I tried to keep that video as condensed as possible. And let me know in the comments below, what do you think about Strixhaven? Do you think this is going to be a slam dunk set? Do you think I'm just getting nostalgia baited in? Is the power really not there? What are we looking at in this set in your perspective as a collector, as a player, as both? Let me know. I'm excited to hear. And if you want to have more in-depth conversation about this, feel free to stop by the Discord. We have an excellent community of folks there who love talking about Magic in a positive way while still discussing the nuances of what is becoming an increasingly complex field to navigate while being a collector and player of Magic the Gathering. Now it's time to thank our patrons. A huge thank you to all our associates, counsel, and partners who support this channel. I hope you enjoyed our first patron giveaway last month. This month is going to be crazy. We're giving away a sealed TMNT pizza bundle and something else along the way. I got to find what cool product I can get my hands on between now and the end of this month to give away. If you are at a paid level, even at $1, we'll open that TMNT pizza bundle on camera for you so you can have a fun time with chat and I as we crack open those packs and see what you got, and also a really cool video record of your hits for all of time. And then a giant thank you to our senior partners. We have Berserkin, NoVNL, Dragon's Den Games and Hobbies, Teacher Johnny, Kevin Cornelius, and Zach Walter. Thank you all for joining in. I can't believe how long that list is already getting. You guys are the best. Your support means the world to me and really helps me to continue to level up our content here. Then to our equity partners, we now have 2 in this rarefied air. Toucher of Wood, he's a carpenter. Thank you as always. And Tony MTG Prince, he makes incredible 3D printed deck boxes. We have no affiliate relationship other than he'll give 10% off to anybody who says they watch my channel by mentioning Nerdy or the Nerdy Attorney at checkout on his Etsy shop. I get no kickbacks from it. It's all just him thanking the community and wanting to support the people who are in it. Finally, last but not least, our named partner, Thomas McKinney, the absolute mad lad. We appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for your support and your involvement inside our Discord community and in Patreon. Well, that's the end of our video. Thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate it. And as always, be excellent to each other, play paper magic with your friends, and until next time, court is adjourned. The new one you might not have seen is Naktamun.